Hello internet, same books, new shelves. So as you can see, this is my new setup. This is what you're going to be seeing for a while. It might not seem that different, but we can see that there has been a switch for what side these books are on, and these are new bookcases. These are gray, they came from Walmart. I think they're called an oak finish. I just really like the look of gray shelves myself personally. Gray is one of my favorite colors, so I got gray shelves this time. I think it really makes the colors pop. So I know that this is going to seem weird. Not only do I look a little off, by off I mean I still look gorgeous, but I look like a normal person and not like the crazy normal that I usually strive for, and that is because I have to be an adult today, so yeah. I had to look normal so that the normies didn't figure me out. Anyway, the whole point of this video is just to give you a whole book haul. I bought a few books. It was a lot of fun, so I'm going to show you these books. One set of books comes from a used bookstore. It was the last hurrah before I was moving, so I was like, hey, let's go to the bookstore one last time. Let's go see what I can buy. And then the second is from Barnes & Noble. Well, I traditionally don't go to Barnes & Noble or Books A Million at on-store locations simply because I think that they don't give you good enough deals that gives me enough incentive to go to the store rather than ordering online. I did get gift cards as some graduation presents, so you know I was gonna be spending them. So we're gonna have like two portions to this book haul, and I'm just gonna show you what books that I got. The first two books I showed you aren't technically books that I personally bought, but books that were gifted to me, and that is Kiss the Girls by James Patterson and Along Came a Spider by James Patterson. We were doing end of the year gifts in one of the groups I was in student body government, and these were gifted to me by one of my friends because this is one of her favorite series and James Patterson is one of her favorite authors, so she knows I love books and she really just wanted to share books that she loved with me. And I am familiar with this series by him. This is the Alex Cross series. It's a detective series, so I know what I'm getting into. While this isn't what I usually go for, I have read an Alex Cross book before and I did enjoy myself, so I really appreciate her thinking of me and wanting to share books with me because I love sharing books with other people, so I of course love when that favor is returned. This next book is one that I bought at a used bookstore. It is Wicked Like Wildfire by Lana Povoic. I don't think I said that last name right. I don't know much about this book itself. I remember when it first came out. I think it came out last year, and the cover, I just found it so beautiful. If I remember right, it's like women in this family all have special talents or special gifts, something that happens to them, and a bunch of siblings all have these talents or curses or whatever, and their mother has always warned them never to tell anybody about their gifts and what they can do, and something happens to the mother, so the girls and the siblings are going to try to figure out what happened to their mother, and it's going to somehow use their gifts / curses. That's just something that I find intriguing. Plus, like, look at that cover. That cover is beautiful, and I really just need more purple books in general, so why not? The next book that I got was actually a surprise for me. It is Log Horizon. This is the light novel by Mari Tuno. I'm not sure I said that right. Apparently this was a Loot Crate exclusive. I did not know Log Horizon was a light novel and originated as a light novel. While I'm not necessarily surprised, I am also still surprised. Log Horizon is an anime that I have watched before. I've watched the first season. I wasn't too thrilled with the second season and what direction the second season was going for, but I did like the first season, so I figured why not buy the light novel just for like prosperity, if anything else. So this book and the anime that I watched and more familiar with follows a bunch of people who are in an MMO game. I think they get stuck in the game and they're going to try to figure out how to live, how to get out, what they're going to do in this video game, and how they're going to accomplish anything now that they're pretty much living there full time. So I liked it. I'm probably going to reread it because I have watched Logger Horizon, but again, it was so long ago that I remember like big picture ideas, but I don't remember the little details. So it'll be interesting to read my very first light novel, especially since I have previously watched the anime. So that's really cool. Plus, it's about MMOs and being stuck in video games, and that is something that I actually really enjoy. Next books I have here are graphic novels, so here we go. So the first graphic novel I have is Volume 1, Fear Not, Alien of Kaptara. I'm not sure what this is about, what it's doing. I have no idea. I just bought this because, first off, the colors are really neon and bright, and I was just like, well, that's weird. And then there's like this weird character, and he has like some sort of weird outfit on. I think this is about a guy who he lives in a world where like it's a huge universe, and he ends up on a planet that's like a fantasy world, and he somehow has to figure out how to survive. And that just really struck me because it's like sci-fi for the fact that he's going to like different planets and like, you know, science fiction stuff, but the world that he is on is like heavily fantasy based. So I don't know if that's actually what it's about, or I'm just making up what I think would be a really good graphic novel, but I picked it up, so we're gonna see what that's about eventually. So the next 3 volumes that I got are all of Outcast. We have Outcast Volume 1, Outcast Volume 2, and Outcast Volume 3. If I'm not mistaken, Outcast is a series about a man who has like demonic possession or something. So I just picked it up, 1, because there was 3 volumes there, they were all pretty cheap, and 2, because it was like demonic possession, and I was like, that seems like it's gonna be fun, so I picked it up. So now I have this series to learn more about, which I don't know much about to begin with, so we're in for like some surprise. The next 2 graphic novels that I got are from the series Allo. I got Volume 1 and Volume 2. This is a sci-fi series. I believe it is about a woman and her husband, and like they somehow live under the sea or something. It says like something that has to do with like an apocalypse, a dystopian area. It's like dystopian, it's sci-fi. A woman and her husband have to figure out how to survive. I don't know. I just heard, hey, dystopian, hey, sci-fi, hey, graphic novel, hey, you're gonna buy it. So that's all I really know. I like the artwork. I think the artwork looks pretty cool. So yeah, I really don't think a lot of like what the book's about. Like vague ideas are okay with me when it comes to buying graphic novels, since I buy them to not only read them but to collect them. So, you know, there we go. The graphic novel I have here is Descender Volume 1. I have actually read this, and I just want to eventually continue with the series and collect it. This takes place in a sci-fi world where androids were created and built. However, one day the androids kind of go crazy, they start annihilating people, and now they are outlawed and they are hunted down. One android, a companion android called Tim-21, wakes up, and he is on this journey to try to find the young boy that he was once companion to. This is the first volume, of course, and it is done in beautiful watercolor, and that is not something I've seen before in graphic novels. The next and last graphic novel that I bought is The Strange Talents of Luther Strode. This was something I bought because I was like, well, that looks like an experience. So this is a book about a young teenage boy, and he just wants to get some muscles, maybe get a little bit more fit, take care of himself a little more, and he ends up ordering a magazine book. He finds in the back of a magazine a little pamphlet program. He orders it, he gets it, and he starts training. Little does he know is this pamphlet is actually the dark secrets of a murder cult. So he learns how to be a member of a murder cult. It is a very bloody and gruesome thing. It kind of gives me a reminiscence of Kick-Ass, if you're familiar with that graphic novel, or more familiar with the movie, since the movies were pretty popular, and I actually enjoy it so far. for what I have read. So the next couple books that I have are ones that I bought at Barnes & Noble by the use of the gift cards that I got by lovely people who gave them to me, because literally all I talk about is how much I love books, so people give me book money because they know how much I love books. So the first book that I bought is Thunderhead by Neil Shusterman. This wasn't a book that I was originally planning to buy anytime soon because I really wanted the paperback to match the paperback that I already own of Scythe. However, this was at Barnes & Noble. It had like bonus content of like the author explaining a lot of the stuff that he mentions in the book, and I figured, hey, why not just buy it while you have this gift card, because at least you'll be spending money to get bonus content, because you know bonus content's a thing and I wanted it. So here we go. There's Thunderhead. So the next book that I got was My Lady Jane. This is the first in the My Lady Janie series by Cynthia Hand, Brody Ashton, and Jody Meadows. This is a series that just retells history and rewrites history with adding in like a supernatural, fantastical element. This tells the story of Lady Jane Grey, who was queen for 9 days before Bloody Mary overtook her. This takes place in the time period right after Henry VIII and right before Queen Elizabeth I. So I really love this. I thought this was such a great book. It has fantastic humor. The humor is something that I find reminiscent of, say, Douglas Adams, and I thought really worked well. I loved the fantastical elements, this idea that a lot of the political issues of the day and time had a lot to do with people being shapeshifters. I loved how it kept the prosperity of history where the big events of history still stayed the same, but of course they took poetic license with everything else, and I really enjoyed my time here because I was just like, not only is this hilarious, but I'm having a good time, and I'm actually enjoying history because, of course, history is a lot more interesting if we include shapeshifters. The next book that I bought was Lost Cipher by Michael O'Sheal. I don't know if I said that right. This is just a cover buy. As you can see, this book is absolutely beautiful. Beautiful purples and blues of outside. It has this gold foil on it. There's also like little art where like there's 3 kids on it and they have like sort of bigger heads than is appropriate for their body, and for some reason I find that highly amusing and very beautiful. So this book is not something that I think I would traditionally read. It's middle grade, which I would read, but the subject matter isn't something that I just think, oh yeah. So this is about a group of friends. They're at camp. They end up finding out that there is a treasure hidden nearby. They run away from camp so that they can go on this treasure hunt. The first thing that I thought when I picked this up was Goonies, which was a movie that I really loved and I watched on repeat. So I'm hoping that the contents of this book is also as beautiful as the cover. If not, just fairly entertaining, so I can say, oh yeah, that was good money spent. And the last book that I'm going to show you today is Arusha and the End of Time by Roshani Chokshi. This is a Rick Riordan Presents. This is about a young girl who gets herself in a bit of trouble because she has a very bad habit of lying, and she ends up getting mixed in with a lot of the Indian gods. I'm not really familiar with Indian mythology, although I really enjoy mythology, so I'm hoping that this will be a good book to get like my toes into the water before I do like more research-based learning on mythology. I just like mythos and like what people believe and like stuff like that, so I'm excited to read this. Plus it looks really pretty, and I wanted the book, so I bought the book. Like, ooh, what a surprise. Hello. I just realized that that's what I get for stacking all of those books on top of each other without paying attention. But I just realized that when I was doing my haul, I forgot a book, so we're gonna add this in here. That's probably why it feels a little weird and off. And that is S by J.J. Abrams. This is that book where it's that old battered library book where the 2 people are talking through the margins, and it has like little notes and stuff. I know Natasha from My Reading Is Odd talks about this book and like wanting to read this, so that's where I learned that this book was a thing from. And then I saw it at the used bookstore, and this is like a $30 book, and it was there for $13, and I was like, Lord knows I need that right now, even if I don't plan to read it. I think I read like the first few notes and pages, and I was like, ooh, this is really interesting. But let's be honest, I bought this mainly because I just wanted to be a collector and a book collector and buy a really interesting, really cool book. So yeah, this was another book that I bought mainly because I wanted to have bragging rights of how I owned this book. I have great reasons for buying books. Don't let anyone lie to you. So I hope you liked this book haul. I hope you like the new setup. I like the new setup. I think it looks fabulous. I apologize for having boring hair. What a disappointment. But if you like what you're seeing here and you want to continue to see more, click all those buttons down below, and goodbye, Internet.